Hey guys, so this video is all about your new life with healthier habits and what you may come up against as you go through that process. So when you're stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things, expect others to be uncomfortable. So I know for me personally, when I decided to fix my gut, to do that, you can't do that just through diet. You actually have to go through a whole protocol of different herbs, putting good bacteria in. It's like a 90-day process and then a little bit more. It's about a 120-day process. It's big. But I'd made that decision that I was going to be healthier and I was going to fix my gut. And with that, I had to be really careful about the food that I was putting in my body, because some of the protocol basically gets into your gut lining and strips that back. And if you have things like alcohol or onions, garlic, like a huge range of things, can really be detrimental. It can really, really harm you. And I know for me that people were judging me. So I would go out for dinner and I'd be like, oh, can you just make sure there's none of this, this, and this on it? And you get people look at you like, are you serious? And especially your friends. They have no qualms in saying, oh my God, and like eye rolling and all the things. Just got to have bones of steel and just go, do you know what? And my favorite thing that I've been saying back to people is, do you know what? I'm doing this for me, so I'm happy. It's actually nobody else's business. And it's really funny because no one judges you for that piece of cake. They don't, just really start going to town on you for that piece of cake. But if you're trying to start eating healthy, it can be different. So I'm just warning you now that these things may come up, because when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, other people can get uncomfortable, and that is okay. So it can be, spending less time with certain people can be a really good thing for your mindset as well. And it doesn't mean that you don't love them anymore, but it just means that you are respecting yourself and, you are the 5 people that you hang around with the most. And if you're in a space where you need a better mindset, it's really working on who you're actually hanging out with and how much time you spend with them. And I know there's been people in my life that I've just consciously cut back on spending time with them. It doesn't mean I don't love them anymore. It's just that for me at the moment, for me to grow and to be where I need to be, that's what I needed to do. So assume that, people have positive intent when they're doing that, and then you won't get as angry and just, it's just not where they're at in their journey, it's where you're at. So also keep in mind not to really put your beliefs and say you should be eating this, you should be doing that. Don't you know that you should have better, healthier habits? Like you should stop doing this because that's you doing it to them as well. So really just keeping that in mind as well. And when you are, going about your day, it's okay, to educate people and say, hey, like I learned this in my course, this is really interesting, but don't, I suppose, go out there and just say, I'm doing this now, everyone should be doing this kind of thing. That's never going to work for you. You're going to be that person that people avoid. So I think it's really important that we speak about your new life as a healthier person. So you're doing things differently than you would normally do as well. So you are changing as a person. So people need to get to know you again. So don't try and force people into your new lifestyle. That's really important. Really, really important. And who you surround yourself with makes a difference. So high vibes makes such a difference. Like look at, your mental health at the moment and who are you hanging around with the most and how can you decrease that in your life. So you can find more loving, uplifting, peaceful, positive sort of people, because the people that you surround yourself with, that is who you become. And you can't become, if you're hanging around with people that are constantly negative and constantly bringing that bad energy around, how can you show up for yourself and be who you need to be, and how can you show up for others and be who you need to be? So that is in your business, that is in your life, that's even in your home too. It's I know that my son Billy was getting into a really negative mind space. Like he was always like missing out on things and things like that. So we started a gratitude journal. So every day he has to write down things that he's grateful for. And that has really, really helped him get into a mindset of gratitude and being thankful as opposed to what he was in before. So you will dream bigger, you will think clearer, and you'll be more supported when you align yourself with the person that you want to become or the people that you want to become. So there are people out there who dump water on you, basically. They are non-supportive, they'll shut things down. They're just different than you, and that is okay. But you get to decide how often that you spend with them. So don't try and make those people like you. That's not the way to do it. They actually have to go through the journey and make the switch themselves. So appreciate them. Don't cut them off altogether and things like that. You still love them, but just be really mindful about that. So your assignment for this is, how can you bring more high vibe people into your life? Brainstorm some ideas. Like, how can you surround yourself around more high vibe people? Is it that you need to unfollow some people on social media? Is it that you need to follow better people on social media? Is it that you need to, in your lunch break, not spend time in the lunchroom with people, but instead go for a walk and eat your lunch walking? So basically your net worth is your network. So you really need to work on that and be more intentional of who you spend your time with, because you'll operate at a higher level and a higher vibe. And you'll be able to help yourself get out of that rut. When you're hanging around with people like that too, you'll see that they've got really good habits in place. Most of the time, and mostly they've got good habits in place. So you'll pick up on things and you'll just automatically start doing things that will serve you better. And what you watch on TV and things like that actually really matters. I've been really mindful of that, especially this year, because you can bring yourself into a negative mind space with what you're consuming, what you're reading, all of those things. So be really sacred about who you're around, who you're spending time with, and set boundaries for yourself. Boundaries are so important, but you need to make them, and you need to decide. Like, you need to make that decision. This is what I'm worth. I can actually say no to that client. I don't have to work with everybody. I can actually say no to that friend more often about spending time with them on a one-on-one capacity. I'd rather spend time with that person in a group. I want to go and walk for my lunch break instead of hang around the office with all the cattiness going on. Really get intentional about your boundaries. And when you're around those people that are talking more negative, you'll find yourself starting to talk more positive, and sometimes you'll turn them around and sometimes you won't, but the vibe will just lift in that whole conversation if you don't also participate as well. So what are you going to do? You are going to basically decide, you're going to, how can you bring more high vibe into your life? That is your assignment for this video. Be more intentional. What are you going to do? What are the choices that you're going to make in your life that are going to make it high vibe? You may have to make some hard decisions. It may be not accepting a client. You don't have to work with everybody. It's setting those boundaries, being really sacred of your space. Because the more you're around people that you just don't want to be, the more that's going to bring you down and hammer you every single day. So the more open you are to receive inspiration and all of those sorts of things, you will feel powerful, you will feel purposeful, you will feel lighter. Most importantly, you get to choose on a daily basis. So just assume that people have positive intent. They're not doing things, they're not saying and doing things intentionally to upset you. Shower people with love and respect and generosity. Whatever you expect back in return, do that. Surround yourself with positive people, positive music, positive food, because food has different frequencies as well, my friends. Rest, get plenty of water, be mindful of what you're watching on TV and social media, dance a little, have some fun. and let me know what you've decided to do to bring more high vibe into your life.